Hey everybody, it's hot. Hurricane season is already started. Well, we're hot here too at Sports Central. We're coming up next. Stick around for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, my co-host for the last time, unfortunately, Mr. Sam Baker. And Sam, you know, we've got a great show in front of us. We've got some really talented and unique guests. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. But the segue into the show, being your last one, you are moving on to bigger, well, I don't know about bigger and better, but you're moving on to something else. I can't say better.
I don't know how much bigger you can get than Mark Jackson.
Oh,
but,
here we go.
Get
this bullseye off my back.
I was very excited to move on to a different opportunity, but thrilled to have the opportunities that I've had here, and a great place to be and make great relationships and meet great organizations throughout this county, one of which is our sponsor of this segment of Sports Central, Hall Communications, where I gave my second to last radio show last night, but next week will be the last one.
Well, we're certainly going to miss this guy right over here. Real talent came up through the internship program, and then, wow, just rocketed to the top. So we certainly hate to see him go, but life's journey brings us some challenges sometime. In this case, a great opportunity for Sam, so we're glad for you. Well, our first guest, Sam, can I really say this? She's a stud.
I don't know. Yeah, oh, she's great. Yeah, she's phenomenal.
She is something else. She's a 119-pound weightlifter out of Auburndale, and you know, when it comes to talent in Polk County, it just seems like it never ends.
It never ends. Every single year, our athletes get better and better and bigger, or sometimes smaller, but stronger.
Yeah.
And we have a great opportunity today to talk to the first ever state champion, female state champion of weightlifting, Emily Hart. And Emily, thank you so much for coming on the show, carving time out of your very busy schedule. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this weightlifting stuff. So, you know, at first glance, you know, everybody has an impression. Okay, and some are good, some are, you know, different, whatever it may be, but you don't look like a weightlifter. But obviously, you're a state champion. That's unbelievable. But at 119 pounds, now this impressed me. You benched 150.
Yes.
Clean and jerk 180.
180 at state, but I got 185 at regionals, which beat the state record tied the state record for the 119.
That's unreal. I know for a fact that I could not do that, and so that is awesome. I really couldn't.
Sam,
it takes that kind of. I'm not going to give myself that much credit, but no, it was amazing. I got a chance to watch some of the videos too from the state championship, and you threw it up like you do it every day. I mean, you probably do, but it seemed so effortless.
But we practiced like every day. Well, we did 5 days a week, and then I'd be in the gym for after that. So it was at least 6 days a week. I'd go once, twice a day, 2 to 4 hours of work. So it was a lot of work to get there.
Well, pump and iron isn't exactly, at least in the competitive realm, is not a common thing. You're not exactly going to pop into Harborside Restaurant and go, oh, there's a wrestler, or there's a weightlifter, there's another weightlifter, let alone a female. How did you get started in this? I mean, you're a little munchkin running around going, boy, I can hardly wait to throw up, 150 pounds on bench press. So
yeah.
What happened?
Well, I started doing CrossFit when I was 11, so that was over 6 years ago now. So I've been just doing exercise for a while. Okay. My sister got me into it, and I loved weightlifting the most out of all the different parts of CrossFit. And when I was going into my junior year of high school, I had a friend tell me, you should try weightlifting at Auburndale. And so I met the coach, and he was awesome. And my first year, I got third at state, my first year of weightlifting. And then this past year, I got first. So
that's amazing.
It's just a journey.
Where did they hold state this year?
I forgot where it was.
That's a tough question, I know, but
there's lots of different schools we went to.
Yeah. So is it like Sewanee High School or something like that?
I believe it was something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, just an opportunity to get to work with Gilbert Jones as your coach, correct? Yeah,
yes.
Multi-time Ledger Girls Weightlifting Coach of the Year, very accomplished. He seems like he's always had that motivating factor for all of you. He must have been a great coach to have.
He was an amazing coach. He's like stern, but also like so kind. He cares about his athletes so much. It's like even when he's making you do burpees, you just know he has like just this deep wanting his athletes to succeed, and you can see that with just how he acts with us, how he coaches us.
Well, you know, most of our viewers don't get a chance to see behind the scenes over here, so we're gonna pick on your mom, you know, that she came with you, and it looks like she's an athlete too. So is this something that runs in the family?
It actually is. Whenever I started CrossFit, we all started together, my whole family, both of my sisters, my mom and my dad, and they all still do some kind of like athletic work. My mom still goes to the gym with me 6 days a week. My dad still goes to the gym multiple times a week, so it is very much a family thing.
It kind of has to be for anyone to start something as intense as CrossFit.
Yeah.
You can definitely say if you've ever walked into a CrossFit gym, it seems like not a single person's heart rate's under 190. But I mean, like it's something. If you're going to start at 11, you've got to have those other people, and it's definitely a gateway to get you into something like this. Now, so you said you started weightlifting in your junior year. You said in your first year at Auburndale. For those that don't know, there's weightlifting, there's powerlifting. What lifts are you doing when you're doing weightlifting?
It's like a mixture between powerlifting and Olympic lifting, because in Olympic lifting it's the clean and jerk and the snatch, but I think for high school they thought the snatch was a little bit too dangerous of a move, so they combined the powerlifting move, the bench press, so it was bench and clean and jerk. And honestly, I don't like bench press at all, but I had to get used to it, and I improved so much, especially over the past year. So
That's awesome, because I lift and have ever since I was a little munchkin. You know, like when even before when you started. You know, but it was one of the things that my father highly encouraged me to do, and we had a whole weight room down in the basement up in the
Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, in the wintertime, you go outside and freeze to death. But anyway, it was a great way to stay fit and all of that. So, I've stayed with, I could be probably your great-grandpa, at least your grandpa.
But so like we were saying, weightlifting is something that could definitely take you many different places. What's next for you? Like you said, you're a senior, you're graduating. Where are you going? What are you going to do after this?
For right now, I'm going to stay at Polk State, and they don't really have a lifting program, so I'm just going to stay doing CrossFit, doing weightlifting some, and I know the next couple years, I think I'm just going to stay doing CrossFit competitions. And actually, I think it's 2 months, I have my first competition in 2 years for CrossFit. So I am so excited for that.
That's awesome.
Is that the nationals?
It's just a random competition.
Okay.
It's called Deuces Wild. Me and one of my friends are doing it together.
Juices Wild.
Deuces.
Deuces Wild.
Deuces Wild.
Okay, I got it. I'm a little slow to hear, guys.
You're okay.
Grandpa Jackson has got to step it up.
Now, we've had some other guests on the past, like Anitra Goddard. We got a chance to talk a little bit before the show. It's that you all know them very well, but I bet you guys are very excited for, I believe that'll come back at some point as well, right? The Central Florida Showdown or Throwdown right here at Sun and Fun.
I think she's doing it again, but I've done it like past couple of years, multiple times. I've loved that competition.
Either way, you're gonna
so much fun.
Whenever you guys do it, it's gonna be great. You're gonna kill it, obviously, and everything. But definitely know you guys are looking forward to that one.
Well, that is a remarkable path. Polk State, there are so many very brilliant people that have come out of there and graduated from there. Actually, my youngest son got his aviation degree from there.
Oh, wow.
He reports for pilot training, Hunter.
Yep.
Reports for pilot training June 27th at
Wow.
Columbus Air Force Base in Mississippi. So another friend of mine, Jim Casada, taught nuclear physics at the Naval Academy,
Wow.
PhD. Rick Dantzler, Senator Dantzler, State Senator Dantzler, and all of that type of stuff. You're at a great school, on a great track. You keep
Absolutely.
it up.
Yes, sir.
Emily, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes,
Emily Hart.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, you know, sports occurs in a lot of different venues, or at a lot of different venues, and features a lot of different sports disciplines. We pretty much do them all, except for the winter sports. Well, one of the ones that we're really, really big into is adaptive skiing and adaptive sports. If you've never seen it, you're going to here in just a second. Check it out, a little bit of adaptive skiing right here in the water ski capital of the world, Polk County. Sam and Mark, we'll be back right after this.
Today is our adaptive clinic for 2019. So we've actually signed up 65 people to take them skiing today. Some of them won't have use of their arms, some won't have use of their legs, some are autistic, some may even be blind. But we've got a system of skiing where they're in a sit ski, and we have 2 side skiers that go along with them. If they have use of their arms, they get to take their rope out of the cradle, so to speak, and hold on their own self. They'll come in and release, and we'll go to the next person. So it's a great event for our team, but it's also a super great event for the people that we're pulling.
The Wawa Foundation is centered around health, hunger, and everyday heroes. That is the bread and butter of what we do. Our focus is to not only to be a part of the community, but to be ingrained into the community. And through the foundation, we do activities such as the adaptive clinic and support within our local communities.
We have chairs that cost, $3,000, $5,000 just to get a person skiing. We have a great partner with Wawa, and not only are they sponsoring us for equipment, like they bought two of our chairs, they bought ropes, but today they're supplying lunch, all the waters we need, breakfast, whatever we need is coming from Wawa. Of course, Visit Central Florida is huge for us. Mark Jackson and his crew, all of them, they all come, they all watch, they love what we're doing. The city of Winter Haven is a huge sponsor of Cypress Garden. They let us use this beautiful park. Nobody in the southern region has a ski area like this, nobody.
More about getting into the community and seeing where those niches are and where can we fit and what aligns with the focus from a foundation perspective. And I think when you think about the adaptive clinic and what it brings to the community, what it brings to the participants from an adaptive perspective, and our alignment from foundation with Health, Hunger, and Everyday Heroes, all those tie together really in this event. And for us to get some of our associates out into the community to help, to be a part of it, we've helped with some of the adaptive chairs that are needed to host this event, and we're just excited to participate in it and be here for the community and those that are participating today.
We've done some Wounded Warriors, and of course, you know, they're dismayed that their body is now not what it used to be. We have also other people that have amputations on an arm or a leg or whatever, but they still want to do the stuff that they see every day. And they see water skiing, they see running, they see all sorts of things, and they just want to do it. So when they can do what we do, adaptive people jump and they slalom. There's a slalom course for them, and there's a different ski for them. And there's a world championship and a national championships in adaptive skiing. So it's a great thing for them. It gives them exercise. It gives them a reason to get up in the morning. It's just a great thing.
Just to get somebody that has challenges out on the water, it kind of, when you see them coming around and you see the smile on their face as they're coming in, you know, it looks like they're free and they're enjoying life, and you know, there's no worries out here on the water. And to put them in that, to have an opportunity to participate in that, and to see that, it brings joy to myself, it brings joy to our associates, and it's a pretty neat feeling.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson here, along with Sam Baker, my co-host, and wow, Emily Hart. You know, we forgot to mention that Emily, by the way, is the Female Athlete of the Year, and will be honored June 8th, this coming Tuesday, at the RP Funding Center. And that's a big deal.
Very big deal. Definitely a well-deserving recipient this year, especially for her being our first ever female state weightlifting champion to come out of Polk County. But yeah, absolutely deserving of that title. But we got another one too that's on the other side of it.
Well, and a company that has blessed Polk County sports marketing for years is
BSN Sports. Huge shout out to them, Jack Simon and that their entire staff over there, Richard Rowdy Bush, and everything that they do for sports, not just for Polk County sports marketing, but Polk County sports all around and all the high schools that they're involved with. So great partners of Polk County in general.
Well, we've gone from one superstar to the next. Why don't you do the honors?
All right, well, with a guy that really needs hardly any introduction in Polk County, but the star of Bartow High School's basketball team, Walter Clayton Jr., the accolades precede you. We've got Polk County two-time basketball player of the year from the Ledger, and now this year, amateur athlete of the year. Really appreciate you coming on, but in a year that there were so many questions, however, you guys answered all of them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you guys had a phenomenal season, and definitely one that didn't necessarily start the way you wanted to with a few injuries, but you guys definitely persevered.
Yes, sir.
So how'd that start for you? What was kind of the mentality? Were you looking to be more the leader from the bench whenever you were trying to nurse and come back?
Really, I was just trying to focus on my mental. It was kind of hard without basketball. So yeah, I was trying to be more of a coach. I I've been an on-court coach, but off the court is way different. So I kind of got to step in Coach McGriff and Coach Austin and all of them shoes. So it was kind of tough, like adjusting to that for a little bit.
Yeah, and definitely huge shoes to fill there. Trying to step into Coach McGriff's shoes. What has he got now? How many state titles does he have now? 4, 3?
He got a couple more than me. That's
A
all
couple
I'm
more.
gonna say. That's all
He'll
I'm
keep
gonna say.
it there. But yeah, no, and something that you also kind of had to do in your first state championship was kind of lead from the bench. In that state championship game, we got a chance to get out there and watch it. But coming into foul trouble kind of early, your minutes started to be limited, so you had to be that guy to kind of enforce that or keep the guys in line. What was your mentality going through that game?
Just stay up. Like I always been like, all my coaches kind of always told me like, whatever your mood is, however you act, then that's how the rest of the team gonna act. That's gonna be their mood. So I just try to keep like positive energy going into the locker room. Everybody kind of had their heads down, whatever, but like pick it back up. Me and Josh Simons, our bid from last year, kind of just keep everybody motivated the whole game.
So you all definitely did, because like I said, I remember watching that game, and a majority of the game, I believe y'all were down, and then had to come back and push it through to overtime.
I don't think we led until fourth quarter in that game.
It was an amazing atmosphere. I mean, one of the things that has been awesome to be in Polk County, and you're a huge part in this, obviously, but was having the state championships right here in Polk County, and it felt like playing a home game, right?
Nah.
No?
Nah, it was way different in the home game. It was just, I don't know. It's just the court, like the view, everything. It's just way different, so it ain't feel like nah.
Not even with everybody in the stands?
Nah,
all
with
the Polk
everybody in the
County?
stands, now that part was home game, but it was just the feeling of it. It was just way bigger. It was, I don't know, it was a different feeling.
Bigger
It's hard,
stage.
hard to explain.
Well, that's a perfect segue into the next, what I want to ask. And because I am, got to tell you, I'm really impressed with this, because Rick Pitino, who you will be playing for, legendary coach at Iona, outside of New York City, New Rochelle, I believe is what it is. And, you know, he recruits players not just for how many hoops they're making and all this, but the content of their character. You know, and Pitino's known for that, and he's a disciplinarian and all of that stuff. How excited were you when you finally said, I am going to go play for the legendary Rick Pitino?
It really ain't like registering my mind all the way until I want to say my dad said something to me about it, and Coach McGriff too. He said a little something. They kind of said something to me, and then it registered. Like I started thinking about his time in like Louisville and all that. So I was kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna be going to like a good spot. Like, as long as I put in the work, I'm gonna be straight. So yeah.
He put in the work there as well as academically, because that's a big part of his, you know, his focus. So,
Yes, sir.
And it's a good balance too. You know, it keeps you out of trouble, and you know, and all of that stuff. You know, we all resemble that remark. You know, as you're growing up and playing sports, and you know, this, that, and the other. But you know, you balance the sports with the academics, and I think that's what an opportunity for you. That is just so cool.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I have to tell you, I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a phenomenal opportunity, and one that was it hard to kind of make that decision and say, you know, after, you know, with everyone else that was recruiting you, was Iona? I mean, obviously at the end of the day, Iona prevailed, but how hard was that for you?
It was hard because I was hurt. So like, I feel like that kind of like rushed my decision. I'm not gonna lie, when I hurt my knee, I was kind of scared. Like I didn't really know how the season was gonna go, or like how long I was gonna be out. But it kind of forced me. But other than, like, I don't know, Iona was a little lead further than everybody else, I think. I kind of had my mind made up on them. Like I looked at, I was like, out of all the schools I got right now, this is most definitely the one that I want to go to.
Well, you grew up in Lake Wales.
Yes, sir.
And went to Bartow. New Rochelle, New York, that can get pretty cold.
That'll be different.
And that is going to be a different lifestyle up
Yes,
there,
sir.
you know, where there's no leaves on the trees. There's going to be snow on the ground. So you're going to have to either buy it when you get up there or take it with you, because you'll need it.
Yeah, my mama got me shopping already. She getting me ready for it all.
Okay. Well, that's fun. You know, throughout your career, you know, you've had your ups and your downs, and it was interesting that you mentioned that, you know, the challenge of going to the state championships and playing in that facility, which is totally different. Okay, recovering from an injury and all of that type of thing. How has that prepared you for now, like super high level of basketball. I mean, this could be your stepping stone into the NBA.
Yes, sir. I think everything, like, for me transferring, like, dealing with a lot of stuff, like, words, like, people were saying to me, like, even people, like, that I love, you know, like, kind of having a few things, stuff like that, and, like, mentally, like, with injuries and stuff like that, having to deal with it. Like, if anything happened in college, you know, I'll be able to, like, get through it, you know what I'm saying? Be able to use, like, prevail, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You're going to have some fans down here watching, including me.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking for big and good things from you. You've got a fantastic opportunity, and
Yes,
I know
sir.
you're going to take advantage of it.
Yes, sir, most definitely.
Okay. Well, best of luck up there, and I hope you are, you know, the top guy, you know, when college is done and you get a great draft pick into the NBA. So you've got the talent.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Put it together, and you'll do well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, everybody, you know, this is, I don't know who puts this together. I don't. But our next special segment, if you will, is the Lake Wales Museum. Okay? That's Walt's hometown. So we're going to check this out, some of the things there is to do and to see, there are to do and see in the city of Lake Wales. Check this out. We'll be back with more right after this.
But before we actually go completely out, whenever we do come back, it'll be in our fourth segment because we're going to actually show some great footage of the USA Water Ski Hall of Fame and
that's
everything
right.
that they had going out there just a few weeks ago at the Visitor Information Center, brought to us by Home 2 Suites in Lakeland, another phenomenal partner of Polk County Sports Marketing.
Great to have these millennials around. They remember all this stuff, you know, whatever it is. Enjoy the segment, everybody. We'll be back.
With our Athlete Spotlight as well.
Welcome to Lake Wales. Today we're going to tour the city's museum. The building is on the National Register of Historic Places.
The Lake Wales Museum showcases hundreds of years of history, and we have artifacts and photographs and documents all about the history of Lake Wales, how it was founded, the pioneers that got it started, and then kind of all about the industry that came to this whole area. There's three main industries. It's really important: citrus, turpentine, and cattle, and you still see a lot of citrus and cattle in this area. The museum is housed in a 1928 train station that was converted to the museum in 1976. So where we are right now is in one of the first exhibit rooms of the museum, and I'm standing in front of the original ticket window that was part of the train station. So it's kind of a cool thing that you can come in here and actually see the way it was originally as a train station, but then you can also get all this really wonderful historical information in the exhibits as well. And what you're going to do is walk through the first three rooms are all the historical exhibits, as I was talking about, Lake Wales. Then in our last room, which was the original freight room, we have different exhibits that change throughout the year, so you're always going to see something new and different in there. And then if you go out the back double doors, you're going to see our train cars, and you can go inside the caboose.
So today I'm showing you the Seaboard Airline Railroad caboose. It was built in 1926, and cabooses served a very important role on railroads. Every freight train that traveled across this country would have a caboose pulled in the end of it. And the reason for this had multiple purposes. First, the caboose would house the employees who were working on the train on these trips. They could cook in there, they could take a nap, they could brew a pot of coffee, anything they needed on their long journeys. Also, if you have a railroad or a train traveling on the railroad pulling a couple dozen or maybe even 50 to 100 cars, the person driving the locomotive would have no idea what's happening in the back of the train. So the railroad would have an employee stationed at the top of the caboose called a cupola. And from the cupola windows, the railroad employee could overlook the entire train and keep an eye on making sure nothing is getting damaged, catching on fire, or making sure none of the cars got disconnected. And these cabooses were used from about the 1860s until 1986, when they were discontinued because technology had caught up enough to make them obsolete. We have the caboose set up how we believe it looked originally. Those 4 bunks that the railroad employees could sit on or take a nap. There's a cast iron stove. There's the original water containers in case they were thirsty. And of course, they can climb into the cupola and look out the view of the windows. This caboose is open and you can walk through it anytime the museum is open, Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5.
So besides coming here and visiting all the exhibits and learning about Lake Wales history, we also have programs that run throughout the year. We have speaker series, we have a book club, we have history happy hour, all kinds of fun stuff, including a history bus tour that we do every other month. So that's really fun as well. So lots of fun stuff here at the museum to see.
The next time you're in the area, stop by for a self-guided tour. The Lake Wales Museum is open Tuesday through Saturday, and admission is always free. To get more information about current events, visit their website or go to Facebook to find out what's going on in their exhibit section.
I know we all wish that he was here in person with us, and I hope that most of you by now know that we lost him to a hard-fought battle with cancer in 2019. That being said, the announcement that he'd be receiving this award of distinction came a couple of months before he passed, and I want you all to know how much that this really meant to him. This is a very special thing for him. My dad got bit by the water ski bug when he got his first Wally burr for Christmas, back when his dad, my grandpa, Eddie Sr., gave it to him when he was about 13 years old. Soon after, he met Herb O'Brien, and they became fast friends at an early age. He was one of Herb's first employees during the conception of HO Skis, where he started building ski boots and then grew on to roles of product development, sales, marketing, video production, team management, and the all-around go-to guy for anything a skier might need from one of Herb's companies. Some of my first memories with my dad were going to the water ski camps for the blind down in Oregon with the Rowan family, and this is my first glimpse of my dad's unrivaled patience and compassion for skiers of all kinds and the enthusiasm for the sport.
My water ski journey began at the University of Houston, where I saw a sign on a bulletin board that said, "Female water skiers needed." I attended a tryout at Watergate Marina where I met Gordon Hall, Paul Risch, and Jerry Bausch. Gosh, they pulled me for years after that. That first day, I only thought I could water ski. They taught me to trick ski and to attempt the slalom course. At the first collegiate tourney I attended, I tried jumping for the first time. With my usual instructions that you get, knees, trees, and freeze. I went at the ramp. It was big and red, so I closed my eyes and went over. It was close, but I fell on my first try. The pickup boat came in to check on me and offer some advice, including, keep your eyes open. The two guys in the pickup boat were Jimmy Thompson and Mike Lee. And with their good coaching, I was able to ride out my third jump. Yes, I was hooked. I soon ran into the people that would become my water ski idols, Ralph and Jeffrey Armstrong and Mary Gail Holcomb. Oh dear. They told me that if you're going to ski in tournaments, you need to do your part to help. That started my journey as a judge and scorer. Jeffrey and Mary Gail reminded me that the goal of an official is to make sure that the rules are followed and to keep the playing field level, allowing each athlete a fair opportunity to perform at the highest level.
Was blessed to have one of the best coaches and judges in the boat every day. Enough that some of my competitors would come to my place, ski at my house just so my father could treat them on if they skied their pass with him, that they knew they could score it in the tournament. Of course, he was also my best and worst enemy in the boat because he saw me every day. And you could see my best every day, and when I wasn't on my best, I didn't get it in a tournament. But he was the fairest judge I've had. So I would also like to thank all my sponsors that I've had over the years and my brothers and sisters that have showed me support today from past teams. Thank you very much.
He started skiing in college, and his first tournament was right after he graduated from the University of Florida. There was a tournament at the Bartow High School in Jacksonville on the St. Johns River, and Gene was all fired up to go, made it through the gates, and fell. He didn't know about the big ships coming and going on the river, you know, but anyway, he got the bug then. He met Walter May at that tournament, found out about promotional boats, and for many years he was a Mastercraft promo dealer, whatever they called it. But we would go to every tournament around, and he just embraced the sport, embraced the volunteer, learned to be a judge. Jeff Clark once put on a special trick tournament in Lakeland. I think he called it the turkey trick tournament, I think it was. But anyway, helped Gene get his rating from a regular judge. And then he got into tech control, and he worked many, many tournaments. He was scheduled to work the Masters in 19, but sadly, he didn't make it to that. But he's here with us. That's all I can say.
We've been trying to do this for years, and if you know anything about my family, we've had some struggles with COVID and heart surgeries and this sort of thing, so we are so excited to be here. 6 years ago, when I announced my retirement from professional water skiing, I did it with a secret motive. I was still at the top of my game, and I love water skiing more than anything else. I love competing. I love all my fellow competitors. You guys made me stronger. I love the sport. But the ultimate goal for any professional athlete, any volunteer judge, official, is that one day, maybe one day, you'll get chosen to be in this Hall of Fame. And I knew there was a process. I knew it would take a long time. I knew that if I wanted my parents to still be here and still be alive, I couldn't wait too long. So 6 years ago, I was nominated by Jerry Jackson and Mark and Joy Bozovic to become a member one day, and you guys voted me in, and I cannot tell you how excited we are. This started in the 70s when my parents decided to buy a boat, a Mastercraft boat instead of an airplane. Both expensive ventures, but I'm glad you bought the boat. By 12 years old, I was skiing in nationals on a wooden ski, and at that time, Dave Kermey realized I needed something better, and Skip Gilkerson thought our boat was outdated, so they provided me with a ski and a Mastercraft boat, and the story keeps going. So by 14, or by 12, I was a sponsored athlete. By 14, I started traveling internationally. And if you travel internationally on these different teams, you're not always lucky enough to have a tournament in the summer. Sometimes you have it in your winter, which meant I had to start skiing year-round. And I am from North Carolina. We can't ski year-round. Some of us, Alan, can't ski year-round in North Carolina. Some of you do. But anyway, Mark and Joy Bozovic from West Palm opened up their home, and anytime My parents couldn't drive me all the way to West Palm and back every Friday night and every Sunday night after my basketball game. My friends would welcome me into their homes, and I thank you for that. My team managers along the way, my favorites, I had lots of managers, I had lots of favorites, but I'll mention two. Jim Grew and Frank Harrison. And you not only kept me in line, you made traveling fun, and you always let me dance at the end of every tournament if we won. So I made sure every team I ever skied on, we tried to pull a win, because that meant we got to dance afterwards. To Arn Clow and everybody at Mastercraft, I could not have done it without you. All the ski companies, and I think I skied for every single ski company in the industry. Thank you for your generosity and your gear. To all the lake owners, tournament organizers, judges, officials, safety directors, announcers, you guys made it possible for us to be able to follow our passion and do what we love to do.
But here's something that I really want to tell myself tonight, and I want to tell you guys. When we first do anything, almost anything in life, we originally start out to have fun. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're seeking fun, right? And the cool thing about water skiing and wakeboarding and being behind the boat is you can have a great reaction that people give you. You do well, you get a good reaction, you have fun, you have a great reaction. It's this really cool experience. But what happens is we flip-flop the order. We end up chasing people's reactions so that we have fun. And that's something I've had to call myself out on, because what happens is what we end up doing is we actually end up becoming a performer rather than an experiencer. We've been given gifts, we've been given abilities, and I encourage you to enjoy them from the inside out. Too often, we are basing our experience on people's reactions, and it's very easy to do in anything in life, especially behind the boat. So I encourage you, be an experiencer. You've been given gifts, you've been given abilities, you've been given time. Go experience it from the inside out, and if people give you a good reaction, it's an even better experience, right? So I do want to say my thanks. Number one, to God. And I'm not going to just say God and then go on to the rest of the list. I'm going to say God to my almighty creator, because he created this world in a beautiful way that created this world with gravity. Without it, we wouldn't have the water. We wouldn't be able to do what we do, and it's an amazing thing. So I thank him for that. My mom and dad, I can't say thank you enough. The lives you've given me and my brothers, thank you, thank you. My wife, Carrie, you put up with me and my crazy antics. My daughters, I am the father of 3 daughters, Hayden, Presley, and Liv. Thank you, girls. And they allow me just to stay young and continue playing. The sponsors that I've had, I've been with a few since the 1900s. That's right. Kid asked me, he said, when was your first pro model? I said in 97. He goes, in the 1900s? And I went, yeah, that's a thing now, you guys. That's a thing. So I've been with Hyperlite since 1995, and yes, Eddie Roberts was there in my first conversation with them. I miss him. Jet Pilot. Been with that company since 1996, and Nautique since 1999. And I've got some great support still from other companies. Most of all, I want to thank the participants, for people who are continuing to get out on the water, the people who make the tournaments happen, who make just the fun happen. I encourage you, get out on the water, still get behind the boat if you can. And of course, the Hall of Fame for including us, even though we stand sideways. But thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. It means a lot as wakeboarders to be part of this, so thank you very much.
Skiing is definitely not an individual sport. You can watch film and study, you can go to the weight room, but you can't go to the gym and just shoot baskets. In order to practice, you have to have someone drive the boat, and as I got older and understood the dangers of actually ripping my leg off toe tricking, I required another trusted person in the boat pulling pin. I say this trusted person because back in the day we didn't have cruise control, so my dad would be driving, he'd come up with all these different gadgets, pulling the pin with his toe, driving with his knee, one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on the release. To this day, still the only injury I've had toe tricking while he was pulling the release was a hard edge catch that gave me 8 stitches. And he still reminds me, the release was on time and it didn't pull my leg, it was the ski that cut me. It wasn't until I got older and had a full-time job that I realized all the sacrifices and commitments my parents made for my brother and I. We didn't live on a lake, and we didn't live in Florida or Texas where it was warm almost year-round. My dad would come home from working a full day and drive an hour and a half each way to take us to the lake. My mom would stay home, take care of Kyle when he was too young, or have dinner ready when we finally did make it home. My parents were spent the full week working, getting in the car, and driving about 9 hours to make it to tournaments on Saturday morning. I was having the time of my life, watching movies back in the conversion van and going to the lake every day, but I didn't know until later how hard it was on my family. After high school, I attended the University of Colorado on basketball scholarship. I was drafted to the Portland Fire in the 3rd round of the WNBA. Fortunately, I didn't make the team, which is probably why I'm up here today. After getting cut, I went straight to Zachary, Louisiana, where Jay and Ann Bennett opened up the door for me to start skiing again. My original skis, ropes, and equipment were too old by that time, so they gave me everything I needed to start again. I spent almost every minute skiing when I wasn't in the boat coaching. It was almost like I had found a new love. So it's no surprise that I definitely owe a piece of this award to the Bennetts, the staff, and especially Dane Puxty for sitting in the boat watching me and coaching me all those hours.
It is definitely a surreal moment for me. For becoming disabled, I had no idea, no script, and no real clue on how to proceed in life. But I always say, never dwell too long in the past or look and expect things into the future, but rather live in the present moment. So along this journey, I discovered wheelchair athletics and eventually was introduced to the sport of water skiing by Phil Martin, one of the early pioneers of adaptive water skiing. I will always be truly grateful for Phil for that, or else I would not be standing here before you. I truly love water skiing and the freedom it gave me. Through Phil, I met the California crew consisting of Borness, Hornsey, Meddy, Royce, Andes, and others. I met Annie from Florida, Fergus from Georgia. All those individuals, they were disabled. They were very instrumental in the history of adaptive water skiing. So after that, and we used to get some of our boards from Eddie Roberts in the early days, and we would cut them down and make trick boards out of them, so we thank him for that. So after that followed ski progressions, competitions, USA teams, and world competitions. Eventually, I took over Phil's nonprofit, Adaptive Aquatics, which I still run after 41 years of operation, and will pass along his legacy to the next instructor, coach, executive director when I'm unable to continue. I have participated in various board of director positions in different water ski organizations throughout the years. I will always support water skiing and the people around it. They have always supported me.
When I first started when I was 4, I was racing a champ kart on dirt, which is a little bit different pavement. And after there, I'd say when I was on 6 or 7, we made a move to a flat kart, which those have no seat belts and no roll cage, so you're kind of just in the seat, hang on to the steering wheel. You also have a helmet, jeans for protection, and a jacket, just to make sure you don't get burnt. And then after that, I'd say around the age of 13, before I turned 14 in September, we started racing legend cars, and here I am today. So it's kind of like a family thing. My grandpa first started racing, and my uncle is currently racing in Michigan right now, and he's racing currently. And my brother raced a little bit, and here I am today. I started when I was 4. I started racing go-kart, and just the adrenaline rush. It's everything. That's what I live for. It makes me excited. That's what it makes me. It's a pavement legend car. It's an FZ09 water cooling motor, run 120 horsepower, and we go 70 to 90 miles per hour around the racetrack. It's usually kids around 12 to, I'd say, 20 is right age around. You know, there's some guys older. I think the oldest man racing today is 70, and the youngest is 13. So it's a very wide variety. School's definitely going first. I mean, it's priority, school first, and then racing probably second. But got to have good grades to race, and once you get good grades, and just be able to race the legend car. My parents definitely make a lot of sacrifices to get me here. My team, great group of guys, love them all. Almost family, almost I could say, and they get me where I'm supposed to be. My friends see me kind of the same, which is kind of weird a little bit. You know, they all play football and baseball, but I race, so they don't really understand the excitement we've put into it. You know, studying film over the week and going over it, just what mistakes you made and how to improve. We pretty much put a GoPro in the car, and that's what makes me a better driver almost. We study the film over the week. If I missed a corner, we can go over how to enter that corner a little bit better. Race situations on the starts. Let's say there's 2 to go, and we have to jump the start a little bit. You know, just to get it going, to get the win. And that's some of the film we go over the week. Auburndale is a very different track compared to most. It's very tight. That's what's called the bull ring. You know, very tight, and you have to race everybody clean. I mean, that's my driving style, race everybody clean and give them respect. And other tracks like 417 and Punta Gorda, that's probably one of my favorite tracks with Auburndale. A bigger track, sweeping, very fast, and that's lots of grip. That's my favorite track probably with Auburndale. I look up to Kyle Larson the most just because he's ability to drive every car he gets into. You know, if it's a dirt late model or a dirt sprint car or even a cup car, he exceeds in all of it. So racing, I'm gonna try to get as far as I can with racing. You know, if I get a sponsor here and there, that'll be awesome and amazing. Get as far as I can in racing, but if that road does come to an end, I'll try to be an engineer and hopefully work on race cars.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson along with Sam Baker. And Sam, wow, what a great show. Just some real unique stuff today. Yeah. It is just, you know, thrilled to have Walt on here, and then, you know, Emily, just that 119-pound weightlifter. You know, that's just fantastic.
It was a great show. Before we get too far, thank you to People's Barbecue out in Auburndale. But yeah, always great having some of our local athletes on, especially some to their caliber.
Yeah.
You know, Walt going to be a Division I basketball player for one of the most legendary coaches of all time, and Emily, our first ever state champion for women's weightlifting. So definitely one for the books this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, it's interesting for me because I have an opportunity to judge the athletics area of the Silver Garlands for the Ledger and the Silver Garlands Awards, and it's really fun to be able to watch, you know, these kids that have accomplished so much and all the volunteerism that goes on in the school systems here in Polk County. Well, we had 2 of the best right here. You know,
absolutely.
just 2 superstar athletes, and you know, moving on to bigger and better things in the future. But we got a chance to talk to them now.
Absolutely.
So that's what Polk County should, you know, people should see. These great kids that are coming out of this system.
Yeah, and it's a very, very diverse community, especially with athletics. For the different sports that we're so involved in, we got a chance to see some of the water skiing greats as well from that evening at the Visitor Information Center, now the home of the USA Water Ski Sports Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Well, you know, you're talking about that, and you know, the disabled water skiing. So many people forget that that is a large group. 19% of the U.S. population have some form of disability. and you think about what water skiing has done for the disabled athletes. I mean, these men and women are, well, kids too, are really, really competitive.
Oh,
and
very
they're
much
good
so.
at what they do. So, you know, that's a kind of is a good segue. I've used that word a lot today, but into all the events that are coming up next.
Yep.
You know, and Sam, you know, when you look through this list, we had 36 sporting events in May. 36 you guys recruited, you know, competed against the Miamis of the world, New York City. Well, not so much New York City. That's a mess. But, you know, Atlanta and whatever, to recruit these events here. You know, you bring them in, and hosted more sporting events, more than anybody in the Southeast United States since June of last year. And now we've got a superb variety from basketball to soccer to water skiing. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we'll even have twirling. Twirling
Baton
championships,
twirling.
baton twirling championships. But yeah, there's so much happening in this area. So much that you can see on our website at centralfloridasports.com. But some of those that you'll see if you'll head over to the website is you'll see that we're having another Florida Youth Soccer Association Olympic Development Program. We'll have 2 within the next coming weeks, on June 5th and June 6th. So this weekend, as we sit right now, all of those are out at the Auburndale's Lake Myrtle Sports Complex. We'll also have another the following weekend, the 12th through the 13th.
Lacrosse, one of those, you know, more diverse sports. They're playing this weekend too, I believe, up at NERP.
Up at Northeast Regional Park, a phenomenal facility, a hotbed for lacrosse in the Central Florida area. A lot of people like to go out there and play. And that artificial turf, it really makes a much faster game. But
there's more going in out there. You know, through a partnership between the Polk County Parks and Recreation and Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, with 4 more baseball fields that will be open.
Yeah.
In February of 2022.
And it's got phenomenal location for where it's located, so close to. It makes it a very competitive. When going out and recruiting these different events, it's a competitive facility when presenting to these organizers.
But the variety of events that you have, that is done by design. It isn't just, oh, you know, here's an event we can, you know, aggressively go and recruit. It's something that the strategy is you want a balanced portfolio, and I think that's an example, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think for a long time it was, we want to build up baseball, and baseball and softball has always been the bread and butter for Polk County. But you saw the need, and the county saw the need for additional facilities to accommodate multiple sports, and that comes from, you know, the diamond sports to the square sports to our indoor facilities, and our newest one out in Winter Haven, which will be actually holding the IE Summer Championships this weekend as well. It's another basketball event, but the Advent Health Fieldhouse.
I'm going to cut them off real quick because I want to ask you, this will be your last TV show, probably the highlight of your career. What do you think was the highlight?
The
last few years?
There's so many, I think, to choose from, but one of my favorite events that we got to host was the inaugural Pan American Lacrosse Association event right at the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex. Got to be a large part in that, get to meet a lot of great people like Cat Lowe at Florida Southern, but the Pan American Lacrosse Association is another great one that we'll be having another event here coming up soon. But got to also meet some really great partners in Polk County, and of those, the 5 that are great partners of this show: Party Rentals Unlimited, Peebles Barbecue, Cleveland Heights Golf Club, Cabana Club, and the Spring Hill Suites, all dispersed throughout the county.
Well, the great opportunity for all of us to support those that support sports here in Polk County. And don't forget, everybody, our sister show is on WLKF, both 96.7 FM and 1430 AM. That's on Thursdays from 5 to 6, one of the most popular shows in all of Central Florida. Believe it or not, Sports Central. Sam, you can hear one more time. This coming Thursday, in fact, next time will be your last time.
Yep, that will be my last show. We'll have a great opportunity to wrap up the Polk County All Sports Awards. That will be on June 8th at the RP Funding Center to give us a great time. But our next show will actually show it. Our next TV show.
which is June 18th, everybody. So make sure you tune that in for a little bit of an update, overview, and a great show regarding the Polk County All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame. This is Mark Jackson. For Sam Baker, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next time.